What's up, y'all? Welcome to another review by Ryan. A very happy Thursday to all of you. It is Thursday, September 29th, and I hope you all are doing well wherever you're at in the world at the time you find this reaction. In this reaction, we'll be reacting to the 11th episode and the Cour finale of the 4th season of DanMachi. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? The title of today's Cour finale is Endless Brutal. Before we begin today's reaction, however, I do want to take a quick moment to give a very big thank you to every one of you that supported and watched any of my Made in Abyss content. I just found out about 30-40 minutes ago when I went to check on the other platforms that I share on, including Bilibili, how the reactions were doing. And I have now found out that combined with my YouTube views, which my YouTube viewership is far lower than it is on other platforms, I have now eclipsed the 190,000 view mark. So that means that my videos have at least been viewed for at least 60 seconds 190,000 times throughout the duration of the Made in Abyss second season run. So really, guys, wow. I'm a new reactor. I just started in April, and while I know that my YouTube still has a long way to go, I've had a lot of success on the Bilibili side, a lot of success in other platforms, and just to see that my numbers combined eclipse such a big point that people actually took the time to want to watch some of my content, let alone 190,000 views. That's just freaking mind-blowing. So thank you so very much, guys, if you supported it just here on YouTube or on the other platforms. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. It was absolutely a blast getting to react to the Made in Abyss series. It was clearly the fan favorite from a reaction standpoint, and just a lot of great feedback and a lot of great dialogue. You guys, you know, those of you who did watch this series were really passionate and very engaged in that series, and I just want to give a big shout out to that. And it's definitely a big shout out to my deep dive team. A big reason why the viewership was so high on my videos was because there was a deep dive crew, got to do reaction comparisons and conversations with other people from the Philippines, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Canada. A lot of great people I got to do deep dive reactions with and conversations with over that series, and it was just an absolute blast. So thank you so very much. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you will support me in future Made in Abyss content should we get a future adaptation and later down the line, and in other content that I have on my YouTube, Bilibili, and other platforms. So with that out the way, it is time for another show that obviously has gone far darker than I ever could have imagined it was going to go. And DanMachi, you know, I can't say that I'm surprised that we have gotten to this point. I said in the very first episode of this 4th season that it seemed like we were getting back to the roots of what this series is supposed to be about. All fluff and fan service and everything aside, I could not be more pleased with the presentation we've gotten from the DanMachi series this season. But because it is back to its roots, obviously devastation tends to follow. And last episode, you know, it sucked. I gotta be fair. Last episode was very hard to stomach. We lost half our cast last episode. And above all, at least at the time of the beginning of this reaction, it appears we've lost Belle too. So what the hell went wrong? And that's really what is at the top of everyone's mind as we prepare to watch this episode. What went wrong? Why did things go so catastrophically wrong against the Juggernaut? Is there anything anyone could have done to prevent all of what just happened from happening? Sure, JURA needed to be killed, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. And that really was the root of it. You know, he riled everybody, he riled other people up to assist with rigging, you know, bombs throughout the dungeons, and he had been doing a lot of pre-prep, doing damage here and there leading up to that moment to cause the, you know, the self-preservation. I'm just going to call the Juggernaut a self-preservation system. It literally is when someone is causing too much damage to a particular environment, the protection will go into place to ensure continuity and basically a contingency. And unfortunately, the Juggernaut is summoned when just enough damage has happened to the dungeon that at this point there is a serious threat to the dungeon's overall survival. You know, and obviously, you know, it's terrifying because even Marie, the mermaid Xenos, she was just horrendously terrified when she heard the sounds and the wails of the Juggernaut getting ready to come. And obviously we now know why she was so terrified, and we also now, you know why Ryu was so terrified, because unfortunately, as we came to learn, the last time that monster surfaced, people got bodied. And in last week's episode, people got bodied really badly. We watched people cut in half, dismembered, beheaded. I mean, every possible gruesome, gory thing that could happen last episode to so many characters happened. And when it got to Bell, really what was going through my head was, okay, he can't run, so where do we go? He's gonna have to fight. Maybe a Xenos will show up and help in the final hour. Who knows? You know, we also did see that Marie, that she actually went and started swimming up to where he was, because she said she wasn't basically going to be a coward. She was going to go help and go see what she can do. So we know that she went into motion, but unfortunately, it really was a case of too little, too late. And, you know, we got to the point that we did where, unfortunately, Bell was simply overmatched. And so the last thing I really want to say in regards to the episode, you know, this pre-episode reaction, is about Bell. Do I believe that there was any different action he could have done? Do I believe there was a better set of possibilities in that moment that could have been followed? And I gotta be fair, I think the answer is no. You know, we watch a lot of animes where many of us run through X, Y, and Z of what we could have, should have, did to deal with a situation, but because of anime plot or whatever the reason might be, that didn't happen and everyone got off, you know, scotch-free and happy. But in the last episode, I think that the entirety of the last episode, again, the freaking title of the last episode was Juggernaut the Destroyer. And I genuinely do not think there was anything more that Bell could have done. He is a level 4 adventurer, but a young level 4 adventurer that's still getting a grasp of this newfound power that he has in him, and also being responsible for so many people. And I think that sadly he did what had to be done. He's at the 27th layer, correct me if I'm wrong. He is not, you know, the only people who really had a chance to get away was Lily and Aisha and them up on the 25th, because they're closer to the areas where it's not going to penetrate or deal with. So they had the best chance of getting away. But where Bell is at, I mean, he's deep down there. He's right down there where it first started its cleanup at. So what more could Bell have done? It's just really unfortunate that he was so tremendously outclassed and outnumbered. And unfortunately, as we saw, the consequences of him just not being up to par, even remotely, with the Juggernaut was he unfortunately got bodied. And that is where we start this episode, where, you know, the death eyes showed, and many of us left last episode genuinely wondering, did we just watch Bell take his last breath? And if so, what the hell happens to the story from here? But that's where we're at. That's kind of my rough thoughts where I'm thinking as we go into this episode. Now, I am confident he's not dead, and I'm confident that when Marie the Mermaid went into action, I'm going to assume that she's going to do something to try to bring him back. Because first off, my thing is, if he actually is dead, do y'all know how Hestia is going to be? Hestia is going to blow this whole place up. And that can't happen. Bell can't stay dead. So, but I'm very interested to see where do we go from here. And since we already know that the second Cour is titled the Calamity Arc, it's obvious that things don't get much better from here. So, you know, JURA has done what he wanted to do at this point. Whether he lives or dies is pretty much an irrelevance, because we have much bigger issues to deal with. And I'm just interested to see how the hell we get out of this situation without the rest of the cast dying too. So, last thing I want to say before we start the reaction is just a rating checkup real quick. This will also be my last checkup from a popularity standpoint, how things are going. On my anime list, it did round off at a 7.76. I do think that still keeps it slightly higher than its, making it still the #1 DanMachi series. I'm probably going to rate it a bit higher than a 7. Right now, I'm really feeling an 8.5, close to a 9, and we'll see how I feel as we get to the end of the Cour. But, you know, I'm very confident. I'm very comfortable with where we're at. Last week's episode, as devastating as it was, also fits everything I believe this season would be. And so I have very glowing praises about the story that we've been presented with. And then as far as popularity goes, I mean, there have been times where DanMachi has popped up in the top 10 and other times where it's just been edged out. And the same thing was the case with, we'll use Anime Corner, for example, and their popularity ratings where Vermeil and Gold came in right in 10th. And then right in 11th, a couple of percents behind. Not percents, but like 0.0 something behind, 0.05 behind. It came in 11th with 3.39%. So, you know, I think the series has delivered everything it needed to. And, you know, I do believe that ultimately I am going to have DanMachi in my top 10 for this anime season. I don't know just yet if it's in my top 5, but I'll figure that out and I will tell all of you guys how I feel on that when I do my final summer 2022 ratings in about a week or two when the rest of my shows wrap up. So I'm going to go put some eye drops in this eye real quick, and when I come back, it'll be a split second for you and we'll get this video reaction started. Alright, y'all, I am back, and let's go ahead and get this Cour finale episode started. Again, this is episode 11 of the 4th season of DanMachi. The title is Endless Brutal. Let's go ahead and get this started in 3, 2, 1. He was just completely outclassed, and it really wasn't anything more he could have done. I mean, that damn thing is literally a reset. It's a whole cheat. Can reject magic and everything, which would make sense. Damn, it was so fast. Like, it was so damn fast. Damn. Just devastating losses this episode. Oh, man. See, and he's over there. I think that's like a river. I really think Marie's going to come in and help him right before he dies. Oh, man. Damn. Damn. And you know, for Ruth, that she is suffering right now because she's literally getting ready to relive what happened against the Juggernaut all over again. I really feel for you. I really do. Oh, man. I just don't know. How does he come out of this? And then you really know Cassandra's going through it because, I mean, Cassandra had divisions the whole time. And honestly, I really do think, given everything that she was up against, she did do her best. Maybe I would have liked a little more aggression with her explaining her visions. But I think there's one of you that said that there's really not much she could have done to stop Belle from proceeding. And I kind of do agree with that. It just sucks. I just want to feel that there was more Cassandra could have did, but I know there probably isn't a whole lot she could have. Just a shitty situation. Yo, imagine Lily, too, once she finds out what happened to him. Between Lily and Hestia, yo, they're going to be devastated. Please tell me he's not dead. See, oh, thank goodness. That's right. And one of you brought up the scarf. One of you did bring up the scarf, and that the scarf was going to help. So good call right there. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention when he first got the scarf for Lilith, but that was really good. That's the only thing that saved his life. That makes sense. That makes sense. Man, get your ass out of here, bruh. About tired of you. You still don't understand what you've done. Oh, man. I was about to ask, did the creature just disappear? Oh, shit. I'm glad you didn't get split in half. And if Bell couldn't beat it, I mean, y'all don't even remotely stand a chance. Damn, but even with Bell being alive, his injuries are grave right now. The loss of an arm, he's completely out of commission. Bruh, I ain't gonna lie, everybody is shook right now. They still reeling from what the hell just happened to Bell. It is. Yeah. We just established that magic doesn't work. Why are y'all about to... Ain't nobody learn? And he gonna use it back. That's literally what Bell did with Firebolt. And it blew him into the water. Shit. But that's okay. Maria will probably get him. It's cool. I can't believe he lived through that. Thank goodness he had his... The only one. Damn. Whole squads, bruh. Whole squads. I just don't understand why you didn't learn. Just said not to use magic. Yes. Which is why she was so deathly terrified of this damn thing. Damn. But you don't stand a chance either. Fuck. And that hit you right there in the damn... Oh my goodness. It's literally a cleaner. Damn, man. Ain't no way this how this gotta go down. Come on, man. Yep, again, I said, and I guarantee you she has his arm. Yes. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Okay. Oh, Lord. But again, some may say it's plot armor, but honestly, it completely matches up. He had the scarf that he got before he went down there. Thank goodness for that. And then I figured out maybe he had some power to be able to restore. Because Xenos are very special like that. They said main character can't die today. Oh, Marie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bell, my boy. You have me worried, my boy. However, it's very weird what she did with cutting him and cutting herself. Yep. You came in clutch. Thank you indeed. But that still brings me back to the issue at hand. The hell do we do against this damn thing? Even if he's back a second time. That scarf saved your ass. Oh my goodness. But it's still so fast. Like a shield. Ah. Okay. Man, I'm gonna need this thing to stop scaring me. I can't have my man get dismembered no more. They really did come through. You know, I've been saying throughout the season how smart decision making by everyone in Bell's team is going to be necessary for their survival down here. And we're seeing that come and show itself in a great way now. He would never have been able to do this by himself. But he has great people backing him. We're truly seeing growth. Yeah, but preventing it in that, I can't. Well, he did determine he doesn't have a magic stone, so. My girl, quite frankly, especially being how young he still is, I agree. It's incredible. Yeah, but I think he has a better idea this time because he determined he doesn't have a magic stone. So I wonder what he's going to do. Is he going to be in the spot? The bells. There it is. Right, because of the way that the goddess knife is. Yeah, that boy Bell! That boy Bell! Are you serious? He actually casted it, reflected off a fucking Juggernaut back into Goddess Knight because it doesn't do a great job with magic, but it can still... Yo. I can't believe that worked. I can't believe that worked. It didn't. Never mind. And for my friend that likes to talk about Bell, and the Bell's always giving him victory. See? Not always. Oh, that mess. We've already learned very quickly down here that even the strongest person is going to struggle against this damn thing. What the heck is that? Oh, he weakened it, and that's what... Fuck! That's why he needed to die! Why is he still alive? But I really don't think it does, though. He gonna stop him! He gonna butcher him! Butcher Jura! Please butcher him! Butcher! He did it! Get his ass! Get his ass! That's what I'm talking about! That's exactly what you get! Exactly what you get! Now you in half and dead! Damn! But the problem still remains. But you can... What the hell? The lantern? Oh. Oh, we just got all kinds of problems here. It's just one thing after another here. Are you serious? Oh no, they've been knocked all the way down. Oh, this is devastating. Actually, they're not even on the 27th floor anymore now. Yo, and I'm so glad JURA got exactly what he deserved. But you at least be happy to know that he's gone now. However... So is it actually just going to be Bell and U down for the Calamity arc? Just them? A floor boss! Oh my goodness! Well, everything... Yeah, the dungeon's completely out of control now because of JURA. We literally have a Lambton, a freaking Juggernaut, and a floor boss! Bruh. Every fucking thing is going on! What isn't going on at this point? Oh my goodness! What in the actual hell is even that? Cassandra, we gotta move. Yo, this thing just hit them with that hurricane that just hit us here in the States. Oh, boy. This cannot be. We are actually fucked. Like, the monster Rex of the 20... Oh my... Even Cassandra couldn't have... Oh no. A banquet. An actual banquet of tragedy. And it was a banquet, so it's not just 1, 2, 3 things. The damn dungeon, as they said, isn't even the same dungeon. JURA has done so much more than he'll ever know, and now he's dead. Oh my. Well, Belle's back at least, guys. At least we got our main character back. Not much else went well this episode. Oh, and now he's missing again. With you. Oh my goodness. What an arc. What a whole arc. What a whole season this has been. Oh my goodness. Man, everything. There's more! There's more! Oh, that's right, because now we have to see where they fell to. I think it's the deepest part. Since, at the end of the day, the Juggernaut came from here. Well, thank goodness y'all fell in that. Oh my goodness. I mean, the physical toll alone. How he's even going through all this pain back and forth. Most normal people would have just been in immense trauma from this. Speaking of trauma. We are so far down now. We are way beyond any level you could possibly even have hoped to see. Oh no. I wonder, I can't even remotely estimate. The 37th? You've got to be. Oh no! Oh no! For those watching on High Dive, we'll stop right there. Well, all right. So, first off, it looks like it was MadCat17. That was the. I wanted to make sure I found the comment so that I could give accolades to said individual. You were the one who reminded about the Goliath scarf that Lily recommended be made and asked Welf to make, and Welf was the one who ended up making it. I completely forgot about that, and you know, when you're watching this Raw and you get really caught up in emotions, you tend to miss certain bits like that, and a vast majority of us reactors did miss that. I think very select people picked up on the fact that the scarf took a vast majority of the damage. However, what's crazy is even with the scarf preventing him from being decapitated, Bell still was dying, and we need to be very, very clear here. Like that type of trauma, all the scarf truly did was prevent him from being beheaded. It didn't prevent the death that was probably about to come, and that's where Marie comes in. And thank goodness for Marie showing up when she did. And I gotta say, all the events that led to Bell getting his arm back and coming back, just to unfortunately get fucked up again, it felt natural. It felt in the direct correlation to where this story is going. I don't feel that his recovery was a cop-out, and a very big part of that is because of how strong I feel the story for this season has actually been. So I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm very, you know, I was saying when the bells started tolling, I have a friend of mine's in real life that doesn't really care much when the bells toll because it always means that plot armor is going to kick into effect. I've never believed it that way, but I can see why that would be said. But again, this entire season has felt very different. It's had a different vibe, and it has felt like the stakes could not be any higher, and the stakes could not be any higher. So I will say, yes, I jumped out of my seat. Yes, I threw whatever I threw halfway across my room. I was very pleased to see JURA get his ass clapped and get split in half. That was very satisfactory, and that further goes into what I said, that there's no way that a beast tamer of his caliber could even have a prairie of a chance in thinking he could tame something like the literal spawn of Satan, the very protector of this entire dungeon, when something goes out of whack. So, but again, more so than just him, as they said up on, like Aisha said up on the surface, this is a much deeper situation. The dungeon as we know it has forever changed on every floor now. This is not the same dungeon that we have known the last 3 seasons now, and going into this 4th season. So whatever we thought we knew, whatever Lily, who has done a great job of predicting when floor bosses will appear, now everything that Lily has predicted is thrown out the window now. It's a complete irrelevance now. The book has been completely reset. Everything has been reset, and we are actually royally fucked. And so, of course, now we got through that fight in some way. Unfortunately, rest in peace to everybody on the other squad who just got completely desolated. Once again, another person who will be the sole survivor of his squad. And we knew that was going to be the case. And I'm still sitting here trying to wonder how the hell Belt and Ryu even made it out of that. But their strength and smarts really did make it out. And again, really intelligent use of the equipment that's present. This is another thing I've said, why I say Bell is truly an example of a 14, 15-year-old protagonist and main character who truly shows that he has learned from, his mistakes. He learns from things. He knows that he got very lucky. He's even able to breathe right now, let alone have his arm back on. Thank goodness for Marie. But he learned from that, and going into that, you know, some people would be like, well, he just jumped right back in to get blown out again. I mean, yeah, but and obviously, as we saw, even the bells tolling didn't help him in the grand scheme of things. As a matter of fact, it only triggered more problems. But he learned, okay, I have this scarf. I know to be careful not to get hit in my neck anymore. Now, some people might be like, why would he remove it from his neck? Because having his neck in place at least means he'll be alive. Why would he throw it on his arm like that? And that's a very quick answer, because at the end of the day, he needs his arms to fight. There's no point in him even being alive if he loses another arm. And so I'm sure that Bell weighed the odds of removing the Goliath scarf from his neck and putting it around his arm, because because he has great fighting prowess now and he has great instincts. Unfortunately, he got caught off guard with the speed there. But now that he knows what speed to fix his eyes to, he's a lot better off. He just weighed the odds and determined that keeping the scarf on his arms and fighting with it that way would increase the odds ever so slightly for him and you actually getting the hell out of this. Unfortunately, as we learned, you know, even that his best of efforts were not successful, but that's not really his fault. The odds were completely against him. The odds are completely against, and again, as we said, no one survives. This is literally a cheat in the dungeon that only activates when someone has done something that they are not supposed to do. So now we know that, unfortunately for Bell and Ryu, they have now fallen to the 37th floor, the White Palace. And that is absolutely devastating. And I didn't know how they were going to get off the 27th floor. And, I mean, how do you even remotely get out of this? And then remember, for Ryu, this will be her first time being down here, too, because she's a level 4. Remember, even though she has age and experience against Bell, they're both level 4 from a power standpoint at the end of the day, and neither of them have even remotely encountered what is about to be encountered now. So imagine having basically Juggernaut bosses around every corner and knowing that the Juggernaut actually is even to keep those bosses in tame. And now they're going to have to fight basically many Juggernauts this whole time with similar, if not potentially different types of strategies and powers. So I don't know how we get out of this. And I know Hestia is going to lose her everlasting mind when she finds out what's happening, but I don't even know if Lily and them are going to have a chance to explain it, because the fucking Monster Rex is freaking formed on the 25th floor, because now everything has been messed up. The dungeon is in complete disarray and everyone is in imminent danger. And that is where we ended the Cour. So much to unpack. I mean, and for all of you who will watch this, again, as you've been doing, please leave any pointers that I might have missed or anything that you might want to interject, as long as you don't interject anything that's in future source material, because I, do want to stay spoiler free from that stuff until we start. It's a lot to unpack. And this season has actually been a lot to unpack. We started off very wholesomely, putting this expedition squad together, getting to see how much respect the Hestia family and Bell has gained. Bell got his new name. He's no longer Little Rook. He's now Rabbit's Foot. We saw these really nice moments, and then it just all went to hell. And, I gotta say, this is definitely the strongest season of DanMachi to date by leaps and bounds. It's not even comparable. The closest would be the 3rd season, and even then, I want to say that this is kind of considerably better than the 3rd season, and that's not saying a lot because the 3rd season was great. I love the 3rd season. So, with that said, this is the end of the Cour for now, and since it is the end of the Cour for now, I will just end this portion by saying we are in serious danger. We are in serious trouble. A lot of people have a lot to say about what we should expect in these lower dungeons. If any of the other gods would like to interject, now would be the time for them to interject. And I'm just dying to know where we go from this point forward. I'm honestly, quite frankly, speechless with this last episode in ways, because there's just, this last 2 episodes, there was just so much depression and sadness to unpack as we parted ways with now 70% of our cast. So yeah. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this portion up, and since this is a Cour finale, but it is a finale regardless, as we will not resume until the winter, it is time for the final Cour final finale rating of how the season went. If you've watched my other reactions, including the Made in Abyss one, you will know that I did start this several episodes ago. So I'm going to put it up on the screen here. So how this basically goes is I'm going to treat this as its own season, even though obviously we know the season's not done. I'm going to treat this as its own season for rating purposes. So it will be broken up between four spots: story, storyboarding, music, art/animation. Story will get 40% weight, so obviously the story is the strongest weight. Storyboarding, which is basically the visual presentation, putting the story into a place that it cohesively made sense for us viewers. Music and art/animation. I know some separate art and animation, but to keep my rating simple, I do keep them combined. So, the story. I think I've made it very clear that DanMachi has been on shaky grounds with the story, and sometimes it can be very hard to keep up with. The first season, I thought the first season was well. I didn't really care much for Ice at the time, and even now I still kind of don't, but she didn't have any factor to do with this particular season so far, so that is not a factor that has to be factored in here. But I do know, and I actually just found out from a friend of mine, that apparently I missed an entire segment of DanMachi. I guess right after the first season, there was a season completely focused on Ice, and I actually didn't watch it. So, joke's on me. I have to go back and watch that after I finish putting this reaction together. But between characters like her and then other things with the story and the gods and the dungeons and some of the villainous enemies that have kind of really off-put me, the story has been shaky. But that has not been Season 4. Season 4 arguably, I think, has the most consistent story from what I believe a story like this is supposed to be about, especially when it comes to the real dangers that exist down in dungeons and antagonistic characters who can try to take advantage of a dungeon and unfortunately not know what they're getting into. And I do believe that the story that has been presented up to this point has been very strong. It hasn't been perfect. There's been a couple loopholes here and there that I'm sure I'm going to get explanations to in the second half of the season when the second curse starts back. But at this current moment, you're not going to catch me complaining about too much because most of my complaints are very minor ones. You know, it's just there's nothing that I can really significantly say that is a problem. It's just, it's not perfect, and none of the storytelling with DanMachi has been perfect, but I think it's been very cohesive. You do feel a deep bond to all the characters that have been present, and you do feel a great gravity of problems. You know, you feel the weight of the world, and that is a testament to the fact that this story is gotten really damn good. So on those grounds, I am going to give the story segment of this up to this point a B+. I think it has been very strong. It's been well written. And I do think that we are headed in every bit of the direction that I anticipated, especially after, you know, we found out about Ryu and what she had did to the villager. And I think that really, it comes from, some of you will be like, well, what is the point that you don't really like? I think that really it's just that I'm still a bit confused about all of the history behind Ryu and, you know, everything that happened with her familia. Also, I have a problem with, you know, the god just sitting there after, you know, they realized the gravity of what was getting ready to happen in the dungeon, and just, you know, just talking like, oh, damn, that's about to happen, and no one wanting to take any action and just kind of being nonchalant and everything. And so, like I said, it's just several parts that are just very minor, but are answers that I'm confident I'm going to get in the second part of this story. And so a B+ up to this point, I think, is a very fair rating to give where we're at up to this point. So, storyboarding, and that is the presentation. Now, like I said, y'all just heard me bring up the part about there are still some plot holes that I need to fill in when it comes to Ryu and what, you know, everything that her familia went through outside of what we were told back in the first season, and I think maybe parts of the second season, that only light novel readers or manga readers, whichever one of the source material it is. I'm sorry, I know I keep messing this up, guys, so please don't crucify me. I know y'all gonna crucify me. Ryan is manga, Ryan is light novel. I know, I gotta pay better attention. I'm so sorry. Forgive me, go minasai. But the storyboarding, though, putting aside some of the gripes that I have with how the order of certain things have been, it has not taken away from me feeling that this 4th season has been very cohesive up to this point. I feel that pain, reward, and consequences have been portrayed in a way that it has felt natural and it has gone in the order I could have expected it to be presented for a story like this. And being that, again, storyboarding has also been a considerable weakness in the past with this series, I will say this is definitely one of the best that the storyboarding has been. So I am also going to give storyboarding a B+. And I think that I really want to see them keep up this strength. And like I said, if they can keep up this level of storytelling and this level of strength with the raw story itself, you could very well see me put the story into the A- or maybe a straight A territory when the full season does conclude in the winter season. Music has always been superb. The music has always been outstanding. It's always been a great part in this series. You know, obviously, Heroic Desire has always been everyone's favorite track. You know, when the bells toll and Belle's getting ready to wind up to wipe another enemy out, you always get pumped up and excited. But even putting aside Heroic Desire, the background music, the opening, really the ending. Guys, I love that ending. I told you I have that thing on repeat. I love it so much. I also want to give big accolades to everyone involved with the putting together of just that song in general, and just Hestia. Like, it's such a perfect ending. Unfortunately, I didn't want to see it last episode because I don't think Hestia would have been very happy knowing that Belle was basically bodied and dismembered and then killed, essentially. So I don't think she would have been very happy. But I feel so warm and just at peace watching the ending song. It's a huge hit for me. But even above that, the soundtrack here in this season has been superb. I have no real issues to report about the music. I don't believe that there's anything different that they can do for the music for this series that's going to be better, because I think that every time they need to get across to us that something's about to go very wrong, the music is just perfect. It's really just perfect. So music gets an A. There's not real much else to say when it comes to the music and the soundtrack there. It has always been one of the strengths of the DanMachi series, and I believe that that was no different here. I think that it's just been another great season of getting to listen to the music of DanMachi. So, and last but not least is the, wow, almost forgot, art/animation. So, art and animation has actually been relatively consistent throughout the show. Even though I have had my issues with story, and I've had my issues with the arrangement of the story, aka storyboarding, I just said that I've never really had a lot of issues with music, and I've also never really had a lot of problems with animation. We might have had a couple hiccups here and there throughout the seasons, but these are hiccups that are so minor that they aren't really noticeable at all. The same thing could be said here. At this present time, I cannot report to you any issue with the art or animation that would cause me to stick out and be like, oh, yeah, that was pretty sloppy. Oh, yeah, that was a momentary lapse. There's been none of those moments. Fight sequences have been crisp. Art has been great. Character models have been well written. Eyes, mouth movements, arm movements, action. Everything has been exactly as I would expect it to be. There hasn't been any of that like in Classroom of the Elite where people are running on top of each other on the track, or there hasn't been any of that where the mouth is like up right at the nose and the nose is like a little high and the eyes are that. There hasn't been any of that Devil is a Part-Timer type animation that we got throughout the whole duration of Season 2 for Devil is a Part-Timer. The art and animation has been essentially perfect. So unless I go back in my rewatch, which I will rewatch this whole season before I jump into the winter season when Part 2 comes, I'll update this rating appropriately. But as of now, the art and animation's an A. There's nothing significantly bad to report. I think it's been pretty damn good, and in my opinion, it's been perfect. There's been no issues. So, with that said, the story is a B+, the storyboarding is a B+, the music is an A, and the art and animation is an A. This is a pretty easy score to give. DanMachi, as of right now, is going to receive a 9 out of 10 at the Cour mark. I think that this has been a very strong story, and with me giving this a 9 out of 10, it actually is officially the strongest rating that I have given, going right below my 8.5 that I gave DanMachi last season. There have been certain points that have been even more engaging to me than they were in the third season, and now that the odds are just completely against against the Hestia Familia, and not only just against their familia, but everyone who went down there, being that 70% of them is dead now. I think that this really leads me to being excited and just, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I just can't wait. This really leads me to want to read the source material if I'm not lying, but I'm going to hold off. And I did tell a couple people that after the winter Cour is over and this season 4 completely comes to its end, at that time I'll think about if I want to read up to wherever it stops at in the Cour, and we'll see where we go from there. Now, for those of you who asked me in the comment section, both here, Billy and elsewhere, if I was going to go back and reread the material up to where this point stopped, yes, I am. So when you next see me in the winter season, I will have more knowledge about all the scenes that happen, and I will have some of my questions filled in. And perhaps y'all just heard me say that I'd like to see certain story points filled in a little bit more so that I can get the story into the A territory. That could happen. I could come back and be like, hey, I adjusted the story rating anyway. But with that said, guys, that is my reaction. That is my rating. Thank you so very much for joining me. Thank you for the dialogue from everybody. I know that we had a bit of a hiccup a couple reactions ago. Some of you decided to crucify me because of a comment I said. But again, with Menasai, it's never intentional. It's all out of love. I love Bell. I really, really do. I love his growth up to this point, and it is very important that we all remember he is still young, a very young adventurer who's come a very long way. And unfortunately, it looks like his traumas have only begun as he is getting to the hardest part of his adventurer life to date. So we're going to go ahead and adjourn this reaction right here. Thank you for watching. If you did like this reaction, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you're going to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. So as a reminder, and a sad one, there will be no fall reactions from me coming up in the fall. I did put this video a couple months ago. There are very important life matters that I have to handle. I love animated death as much as the next person, but life responsibilities always takes priority. So I will be taking a break from reactions in the fall season. I hope you all enjoyed the amazing shows that are getting ready to start this weekend. The return of Spy X Family. We have Chainsaw Massacre. We have Bleach coming back. We have a lot of great stuff coming, and I do hope you will enjoy those episodes and that you will enjoy all the other great reactors who will be reacting to those shows. So until the next time I see you for the DanMachi reactions, which will be in the winter season, catch you later.